Hello and welcome back to Logitech G at Gamescom. I'm Louise and I'm joined by Matt.
Hello.
And we've been playing all the latest games this week, but Matt has seen a behind closed doors presentation of Cyberpunk 2077, which is the most desired one of the show. People are saying, I don't have appointments, I can't see it, but Matt's seen it. Matt, what's it like?
It's incredible. It's like by some margin the most impressive thing that I've seen. I should say, I think the demo that we saw was almost exactly the same as the one that was E3.
Okay.
So I think the statistic that was doing the rounds on the show floor was that it was 7% different, which is
That's
the
incredible.
most. I don't know how you measure that.
So before we go any further, it is important to say that Cyberpunk 2077 is from CD Projekt Red, so that's the same studio that brought us The Witcher. So there's a serious, they have a serious CV here. So what is it that they're doing here? What's going on?
So there are RPG elements in it, but it's a first-person shooter essentially, set in a sort of like a futuristic Blade Runner style city, and it is based on the old pen and paper games. So one of the things that we're really keen to stress as we were watching it is that loads of the elements that are in the game are from this old pen and paper RPG. So it's kind of really interesting mix of the things that sort of feel recognisably CD Projekt Red from sort of the Witcher heritage, and things that feel entirely new, like mainly the first person stuff. It's sometimes difficult to tell when it's been a hands-off demo. But the first person shooting stuff from what I saw so far was really, really solid, and they've got like a really interesting range of guns that reflect this kind of really gritty, mature, bleak sort of future. So even things like a shotgun is slightly different. So the shotgun they showed us, as well as looking brilliant, having sort of all, mechanical bits and pieces poking out of it, you could overcharge it, and essentially that was used for shooting through cover. I mean, it felt really realistic in a sense that it did fire rounds of shot that you could see passing through things. And during the demo, there was a shootout where people were hiding behind things, and they used that to sort of blast them out of cover. But there's like a huge variety already of really interesting looking guns, and they all look like they do different things. So I think first-person shooter is somewhat underselling it, because it's not just like a pop-up shooter. And obviously the RPG elements and the story choices that we saw were amazing as well.
So in terms of, we are in a future, we've got augmentations. Is that something that can really change? I think you said something about eyes.
Yes, yeah. I mean, this was one of the coolest things actually. So there's obviously like a really solid upgrade system in the game, and we went to a Ripper Doc, who's essentially like the guy that will upgrade all your systems. But it was a really immersive way of doing it. So one of the things we got was like a replacement eye that would let you zoom in on things and scan people to sort of give you a sense of what kind of threat they were. So you zoom in and it would give you their stats, and it would warn you if they were a hugely high threat. So when you're making decisions about like what choices to make and who to fight, that sort of stuff's really important. But when it was actually happening, like you saw your eye coming out, and then the new one going in, there's a moment where you're seeing yourself,
via your eye.
Yeah, which is just like a lovely touch, like a really kind of immersive touch. And like I think it's quite easy to draw similarities to The Witcher in that everyone's looking for them, but while it's not the same, that level of detail is the same, and that's the sort of stuff that CD Projekt Red bring. The other thing they did was an upgrade to your hand.
Okay.
So it was like a sort of sheen, essentially, like a metallic sheen on your hand that would tell you how many bullets you had left in your gun.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So like all of those things are done in game, and they reflect the world you're in as well, which is just awesome.
So those are going to be, this is only the beginning really, because we don't even have a release date, right?
No, I couldn't even begin to speculate. I mean, what we saw looked like they were at pains to stress that it was early days, but like in terms of sort of the completion of the world and how sort of far down the line they seem to be, like it was incredible. Like the density of this thing was amazing. So again, like the Witcher comparison is sort of a little bit too easy, but like the impression I got was, if you think about the map of The Witcher, which is just like huge, but also really dense, and there's a strong sense of place to everywhere you go, and anyone that's played it will, remember specific points, and that first moment when you get to the bigger map, and you're like, I can't believe this is actually in a game.
Yep.
The impression I got seeing this was it's that, but also upwards as well. So like the first time you open your window and you look outside, it's like, can I really go to any of these places? And the impression I got is you can.
Yeah.
So it's gobsmacking. Like it genuinely feels like a sort of a leap forward, the likes of which I haven't seen for quite some time. I'm quite excited about it. I don't know if you're getting that.
You can tell he's
impression.
quite excited. So we'll stop you there, Matt, as much as you could probably talk for the entire.
I can keep
no,
going.
We're absolutely
we can make this
fine.
half an hour long if you want.
We'd rather not. Well, let us know if you have any questions for Matt about Cyberpunk 2077. Pop them in the comments and we'll try and answer them. Drop us a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G for all the latest features and previews straight from Gamescom.